What is going down, faithful? We got the W today against the Seattle Seahawks, but we did lose in some ways. We'll talk about all the things from today's game, the good, the bad, all of it. We'll get into it right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Sourdough Squad? How are you guys doing today? I'm coming to you pretty late, but hey, I was at the game today, and it takes me quite a long time to get back home, but I am home, and I am ready to talk about all things 49ers versus the Seahawks. We got the dub. We got plenty of stuff to talk about today after this particular game, but you already know what to do. Before we get into any of the topics from today, I need W's in the chat. I just need to see a sea of just spammed W's. That's all I want to see in the chat right now. We're going to get into the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, defense, offense, everything. We're going to talk about it all. But before we even get there, let's remember that we just dismantled the Seattle Seahawks. Spam W's. I don't want to see nothing but W's in the chat. Let's go. Get the W's going. The chat is on fire already. The chat is on fire already. Ryan Miller, you can't follow simple instructions, my boy? Blocked. We're setting the tone early. We're setting the tone early. I said nothing but W's in the chat. My guy wanted to drop an L. Blocked. I don't got time today. Because we just collected a W. We got to set the tone here for the rest of the Sourdough Squad. The 49ers beat down. Let's not forget it. Let's not forget it. The San Francisco 49ers beat down the Seattle Seahawks, a team historically, the last decade, just seemingly has our number. Doesn't matter. Don't know what it is. Some kind of juju that is in Pistol Pete Carroll's gum that he chews. He like the more he chews his gum, like the more magic comes out. I don't know what the hell is going on. But the Seattle Seahawks have always played the San Francisco 49ers really well. So we are going to absolutely celebrate this W. I know there's going to be some hard feelings, and we're going to get into that stuff. But let's not forget, we won today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the W, and that's all you can ask for right now. Shout out, we're heavy on Facebook right now. Sheesh. Facebook's balling right now. Facebook's dominating the chat. Facebook, feel free to come over to YouTube if you want. Let's talk Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw got a contract extension. I didn't even see it. Like I was out and about doing my thing at Levi's Stadium. I didn't even see it until like 45 minutes later. Dre Greenlaw got a 2-year contract extension. So there's that. Dre Greenlaw got paid. Sounds like it's going to be finalized on Monday, is what it's been said to be. But that's a W, I guess. Dre Greenlaw gets paid. 2-year contract extension. We knew Aziz Al-Shaair and Dre Greenlaw were going to be up for contracts. He got paid. But let's talk about the main topic, shall we? Let's talk about the numero uno on everyone's minds. Trey Lance goes down for the entire season. Oh boy. That was definitely weird. That was a weird situation. Being in the stands, kind of seeing the cart come out, seeing Trey go, I thought it was at first. I didn't know it was Trey. I thought it was someone else. I thought Trey got dinged up on the play, but I thought someone else was down, and they're bringing the card out for Trey. They brought the card out for Trey. When they bring the card out for, bring the card out for anyone, uh, it's not a good sign. So Trey Lance gets carted off the field, and as we've come to find out, it's a pretty severe ankle injury. It's going to require surgery. Sounds like the surgery is going to occur tomorrow, and it will be a season ender. So Trey Lance didn't even get a week and a half in to the 2022 season before going down. Of course, just as a person, my heart goes out to Trey, man. I don't know Trey personally. We've had very minimal engagements back and forth, through social media and stuff like that. But I don't care if it's San Francisco 49er. I don't care if it's a Seattle Seahawk. You just never want to see any player go down with an injury. This is their livelihood. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this game, and it can be a bitch sometimes. Pardon my language, but this game can just really chew you up and spit you back out. Doesn't matter how many hours you put in, doesn't how much tape study you do, doesn't how much you work out, really doesn't matter. All it takes is one play, and it changes the outcome of your entire career. And surely this is going to change the outcome of Trey Lance's entire career. Now, we don't got to look too far into the future. We can focus right here, right now, with today's win and what it means today. There'll be conversations for the future, what it means for Trey Lance, how Trey Lance bounces back. How does that impact his development? Those conversations will come. But right now, just heart goes out to Trey, goes out to his family, because we consider ourselves a community. We consider ourselves, a family, I guess, if you will. He's part of our family. He's part of our 49er family. So absolutely hurts to see Trey go down like that under those circumstances. Because it felt like a great week for Trey Lance to bounce back, silence the haters, silence the critics. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that opportunity. So we're going to have to put that on pause and start. The good thing about the timing of the injury is that it doesn't seem like there will be any type of There's a funny comment in the chat. I'm not going to repeat it though, because it's just funny. But with Trey, I just said we're not going to look into the future. A little bit into the future. He should be ready to go week 1 next year, I would imagine. We'll see what the timetable looks like for OTAs and minicamp. But based on the injury and him getting it corrected now, feels like he should be good to go for training camp. So we'll take it from there. But of course, the guy that we talked about a lot this offseason, that we didn't think was going to be back with the San Francisco 49ers. We didn't think Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be here. I told you. I went on 95.7 The Game. I went on Channel 5, CBS News, and I was asked, what do you think the chances are that Jimmy Garoppolo returns to the San Francisco 49ers in 2022? And I said it's a 0.001%. And that was my way of saying it's not going to happen. But the reason why I put 001 is because it's the NFL and anything can happen in the NFL. And there's no absolutes in the NFL. So you can never say never. So I left my 0.001 to save me. And sure enough, here comes Jimmy Garoppolo back with the San Francisco 49ers. And it looks like, not that it looks like, it is. Jimmy Garoppolo will be the 49ers starting quarterback in 2022. I mean, what a wild ride. The entire situation, from Jimmy Garoppolo off to the side, not a part of team meetings, uh, the whole training camp situation. Kyle Juszczyk talked about it today. Just how it was a weird situation. Never been a part of anything like that. Never seen anything like that. Where you have a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who has been so much for the franchise, just kind of thrown off to the side, not a part of the team, not a part of anything, and then all of a sudden at the last minute just returns. But as we saw today, that benefited the San Francisco 49ers. So, you know, initially when Jimmy returned, right? I was personally shocked. Absolutely shocked because clearly I didn't think that was going to be one of the ranges of outcomes based on everything that we heard from Kyle and John, and they were talking about reports, Jimmy was going to get released when the 53-man roster was cut, those types of things. That just felt like where it was leading. But Jimmy Garoppolo being the guy he is, and then the front office being able to restructure his contract, you get Jimmy Garoppolo back. And, after the initial shock wore off that Jimmy is returning, you take a step back and you're like, oh, really? It's not a bad thing, because who were the backup quarterbacks at the time? Nate Sudfeld, Brock Purdy. If the 49ers were turning to Nate Sudfeld or Brock Purdy right now, today, in this game, I think our overall tone of the entire year is a lot different, because I still think that with Jimmy Garoppolo taking over, we don't really skip a beat too much. It's going to be won in different ways than which Trey Lance would have won games, but they're still kind of the same competency level. So it's absolutely crappy that the 49ers lose Trey Lance for the year. You lose a year of development. You lose a year of experience. That's the thing that we talk about when we talk about Trey Lance. He needs experience. He needs reps. You lose some valuable reps and experience. But the guy behind him took the San Francisco 49ers to 2 NFC championships and was 1 quarter away from winning the Super Bowl. And the entire locker room adores this guy. So the 49ers are actually not in bad shape. They're really not. Now, we can get into more conversations about Trey Lance and the vacuum of Trey Lance and his development in a vacuum, but we're not going to do that today, because San Francisco 49ers just beat the Seattle Seahawks, a team that swept the 49ers last year and shouldn't have, and did it in just wonderful fashion. And because you have that backup quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo steps in, leads the San Francisco 49ers 13 passes completed on 21 attempts for 154 yards and a touchdown. He also added a rushing touchdown. So Jimmy Garoppolo picking right back up where he left off. And the long-term outlook for this situation is terrible for Lance, but the overall health of the 49ers' belief in pushing for a playoff, pushing for a Super Bowl is still alive. So, although on one hand, absolutely bitter to lose Trey Lance, it is still kind of sweet that you have a backup quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who shows he can enter a game, maintain drives. They talked about it. He just kept rolling. It's almost like a calming presence when Kyle Juszczyk and the offensive line gets Jimmy Garoppolo into the huddle, because they know what to expect. They know what to expect. R says pressure back on Kyle and Jimmy G. Script flipped from Trey to Kyle and Jimmy. There's always going to be pressure on this team. Kyle Shanahan, hey, he's caught in some fire, man. I was listening to 95.7 on the way home, and there are people calling in, and there are a lot of people I haven't been on Twitter too much because I've been driving for a long time, but the people were calling in. Oh boy, they got a bone to pick with Kyle Shanahan. They got a bone to pick with the play calling selection, the way they manage. There's a lot, but we're not going to get into that right now. But I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. It's back on Kyle and Jimmy to work together to get this thing done. So we'll see. We'll see ultimately how it plays out, for sure. Um, how do you guys feel? Why don't we pull the chat really quickly? How do you guys feel about the situation? Um, with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, again, it's a huge part of this game. I want to get through it in its entirety, and then we will actually turn the page to other people that aren't the quarterback. So we will get there. Be patient. I know it's definitely a topic that is on the top of a lot of 49er fans' minds right now. So we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it. Um, let's see. But I want to hear your honest takes. I want to hear your honest opinion, how you feel. Um, let's see. Man, all I can say, I hope Jimmy does well. Tragedy struck, and we are back to Jimmy to not screw this up. Let's see. Sad Trey got hurt, but I love Jimmy. More gutted than pissed off. Sucks. Come back with a chip on his shoulder, 100%. Heartbroken, frustrated. Sad for Lance, but happy we have Jimmy Garoppolo. So a lot of that. A lot of that. So it's definitely going to be, it's not going to be something we talk about anymore. It's on Jimmy Garoppolo now. It's on Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan, offense, defense, and special teams. Speaking of those, offense, defense, and special teams. Could we talk about Nick Bosa? I'm telling you, man, it was a lot of fun watching that defense hunt today. It was a lot of fun watching that defense hunt. They weren't getting to Geno Smith. Geno Smith was doing a pretty damn good job of getting the ball out pretty quick. Whenever there was a passing situation, Geno Smith was we know he's not going to be taking shots all over the field or anything like that, but the defense was chomping at the bit. Almost every play there was Charles Omenihu, Nick Bosa, Kevin Givens, Samson Ebukam, Eric Armstead. Someone was around Geno Smith at all times. And I did an IG live at halftime, and I was like, you know what, man? Like I said that, I was like, this defensive line has just been, you can tell they are hungry to get to Geno. They're not able to. They're not able to close the gap. They weren't able to get home. And I just like, man, this second half, they're going to get after his ass. Like I can tell you, they're going to get after his ass. Nick Bosa comes away with 2 sacks. Absolutely. Again, we're just not giving him time to make deep passes or anything like that. Again, the defensive line continues to be special, led by Nick Bosa. So Nick Bosa's got 3. Nick Bosa has 3 sacks on his road to 20. So if he can come out with a multiple sack game against the Denver Broncos on primetime television, that's how we get the defensive player of the year. We get that drum beat picking up. It looked like it was initially a half sack from Drake Jackson, but they did not record it as that. They recorded it as 2 sacks for Nick Bosa. So the 20-piece king added 2 on the day officially. And so that's 3 out of 20. 3 down, 17 more to go. Long season left. So Bosa did his thing. Can we talk about arguably the best player on defense so far? I think the best player on defense throughout the first 2 weeks has been Talanoa Hufanga, aka Hubanga. Talanoa Hufanga has been lights out. Like, I thought he was going to play well this year. I really did. I really thought Hufanga was going to take a step forward. I'm a big Hufanga guy. Have always been a big Hufanga guy. Never really leaned into, some of the harsh critiques of Hufanga. I've always been someone who's looked at Hufanga, who looked at Hufanga from a draft prospect. I scouted Hufanga. I loved everything about Hufanga, but I didn't love his straight line speed. It was one of the first things that stood out to me on tape at USC. I don't know what the hell this guy did, but I don't see it. He looks like a freak. The Tongan missile, man, like literally. Toko going crazy out there. Like, I don't know. Like, dude's 22 years old, guys. Talanoa Hufanga is 22 years old. No 22-year-old should be dominating on a field that has Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Emmanuel Mosley, Azeez Al-Shaair, Drake. No, a 22-year-old should not be doing that, and he is. And I feel confident saying he's the best player on the defense for the first 2 weeks. He is where he needs to be always. He's so good that he's there like before the play even materializes. That's how good he is. That's how cerebral he is. He's just got a feel for the game that you can't teach that to someone. Like, of course, you can teach it over time and whatever. We get that part of it. But there's an instinctual aspect to Talanoa Hufanga's game that you can tell he just got it. He takes all the film work, the prep work, the study, and then he puts it together and has the ability to execute it at an extremely high level. Talanoa Hufanga, absolutely phenomenal. I can't say it enough. Talanoa Hufanga, absolutely balling. Forced a interception. Should have been his interception, but he just wasn't able to get the hands on it. Bounced right through his hands, but Tashawn Gibson picked it up. Talanoa Hufanga did phenomenal today. Absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't be more happy with the way he's performing without Jimmy Ward. And the best thing that I can even think of is a center field that is being covered by Talanoa Hufanga and Jimmy Ward. I saw Jimmy Ward run today. That was good. I saw Jimmy Ward running today. Now, he wasn't like running drills or anything, but he has a nice brisk jog out of the tunnel. I was like, hey, that's Jimmy. We need you, Jimmy. So Jimmy Ward looking to be back week 5, but you get Jimmy Ward back there. You let Talanoa just absolutely hunt. Whoo! I'm hyped. So Talanoa Hufanga, again, we did the awards. We did the awards, preseason awards or whatever. Talanoa Hufanga was my hero. Can you be my hero, baby? He was my hero, and he's proven to be that. I said, who's going to be the one player for the San Francisco 49ers to be the hero on the entire season? Talanoa Hufanga is doing a phenomenal job. Jimmy G though. Jimmy G just threw his hat into the mix because he's gonna try to be the hero now. So Talanoa was good. Who else was I impressed with? Oh, Emmanuel Mosley. I love E-Man, dude. I love E-Man so much. He doesn't get enough credit. He does not get enough credit. Emmanuel Mosley, I think, had a phenomenal game. Locked up DK Metcalf. Beautiful tackle on Tyler Lockett on a 3rd and long, right at the sticks, to force a punt, stop a drive, dead in its tracks. The PI, absolutely bogus. It was one of the worst calls I've seen in a while. Geno Smith just floated that thing up there. Literally, both when you turn your head and you locate the football as a defensive back, you have the same right to the football as the wide receiver. And DK did a trash job of trying to go get it. Like, Emmanuel went to go get it, and DK hit him because Emmanuel went out of his way to go break up the pass. DK hit him. They called a flag on. Oh, man, it was terrible. It was a terrible call. I will go down in my grave saying that was the wackest call, arguably, of the year. And the 49ers have had some whack calls already this year, and that was a whack one. No, it was really bad. But again, shout out E-Man. He had a PBU. I really love E-Man. I love E-Man, and I love him paired with Charvarius Ward, a.k.a. Money Mooney. Money Mooney out there, he got his INT. Now, he may have picked it off a running back. But, hey, you got to take advantage of your opportunities, man. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. Money Mooney got his pick in the end zone again. Was able to stop that drive from ending in points. I liked what I've seen from Charvarius as well. Let's see. Who else balled out? Tashawn Gibson had the interception that was off Talanoa Hufanga. I got to go back and watch the game in more finer detail. Dre Greenlaw. I heard word on the streets. Dre Greenlaw had a good game. Word on the streets. I didn't see anything that was too crazy, but again, dude led the team in tackles. And I've heard some good things. I got to go back and watch it still, but Trey Greenlaw. So and that's the thing, man. 49ers defense, we need them to be legendary. With Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback situation, whatever it is, we already knew the recipe for success for this team was the defense. So the defense continuing to tighten it up. I really like what Nick Bosa said after the game. He said that there was a really eerie feeling to the way that the second half ended because you had the blocked field goal that turned into a touchdown. That game should have been even more out of hand than it showed at the end. But they were able to get the blocked field goal and return it all the way back for a touchdown. Nick Bosa was like, that ending of that half had a real eerie feeling. And was really kind of felt like that Bears game. And he's like, we know what happened with that Bears game. We didn't put it away. So they made it a point of emphasis to put that game away. And they did exactly that. Let's call it what it is. The 49ers defense shut out Pistol Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and that Seattle Seahawks offense. Shut them out. Their teams scored. Their team's unit scored. Not their offense. Their blocked punt or block kick unit. So that is phenomenal. That is what we want. If this defense can suffocate opposing offenses like that, it doesn't matter what's going on the offensive side. The offensive side can take 3 quarters to figure out what the hell they're doing. As long as the defense is playing clamps, lights out. They played great. I can't wait to go back and watch it. I saw Jesse talking about Samuel Womack. Looks good today. Definitely going to keep my eye out for that. Let's get to the offensive side. Shout out Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson ran the ball really well. Shout out the offensive line. Again, I'm always going to hold my reservations and evaluations for the offensive line until I can actually go back and watch the tape, because there's so much that goes on in there that you really need to go back and watch it. But from what I saw, like, it wasn't perfect. I saw a couple plays that got blown up, but like, again, this unit as the offensive line unit, you can't grade it like as a definitive, like, week 1, that's what the O-line is. No, this is a progression. So you have to keep that in mind when we're watching this offensive line. It needs to be week 2 needs to be a little bit better than week 1, and then week 3 needs to be a little bit better than week 2, and they need to gel and get things together and start creating separation between mistakes and good plays and really limit the mistakes and build that continuity up front. And it felt like they were. Now, you still had the fumble from Brendel. Looked like he was snapping like quarterback was under center, but he wasn't under center. That's just one of those oddball issues. But other than that, and a couple miscues here or there, felt like the offensive line was much better. Felt like it was much better. So I can't wait to get into it. I saw a lot of plays with Aaron Banks on the second level. Aaron Banks took a lot of heat this last week for how he was able to get to second level. Again, it wasn't pretty. It really wasn't pretty. There were multiple misses that Aaron Banks had getting to second level that resulted in a run getting stuffed. But I saw multiple plays where Aaron Banks was on the second level blocking linebackers that was busting running backs open for big gains. So I can't wait to get into it. I think the offensive line did okay. And that's what we want to see. We want to see progression. We want to see them get better week by week. So far, I liked what I saw from the offensive line. So shout out the offensive line. But again, Jeff Wilson ran the ball really well. 18 carries for 84 yards, averaging 4.7 a clip. Again, one of my favorite traits of Jeff Wilson, he's slippery. He's really good at avoiding contact. He's good at start-stop. He might not be the most explosive runner, but he's just really good at short area space. He's really good at being able to slip contact and find running lanes. Great vision, great feel for running behind his offensive line. He did really well today. Deebo Samuel had that really nice play where he made half the Seattle Seahawks miss for, I think, like it's a 51-yard carry that looked like it would have been a tackle for a loss, but he just purely dominated. We saw a lot of Ty Davis Price. 14 carries, 33 yards, 2.4 a clip. Kyle Shanahan saw me tweeting about Jordan Mason before the game, and he's like, "You know what, Brad? I'm tired of you tweeting about Jordan Mason. We're not giving the ball to Jordan Mason. We're going to give it 14 times to TDP. I know you want to see Jordan Mason. I know you and your ginger locks want to see Jordan Mason tote the rock. We're not going to do it this week, Brad. Sorry. You keep tweeting about it. Nope. Not today. You know what? I can't complain. I liked what I saw out of the running backs today. Ty Davis Price got a little bottled up, but he had some good runs here or there. Not too bad. Kyle Juszczyk had a touchdown. They tried to get Kyle Juszczyk in there twice. They tried to get Kyle Juszczyk into the box twice. He only got in once. And of course, Jimmy Garoppolo got the other. We had that nice play to Ross Dwelly. Ross Dwelly. Ross the boss stepping in for George Kittle. I think on that particular play, the Seattle defense just wasn't worried about Ross. They just let him go. And I think it was Jimmy Garoppolo found him, and Ross Dwelly did a really good job of getting in the end zone. So he took his one catch, took it 38 yards for a touchdown. So that was really nice. Deebo Samuel also had a good day on the through the air, 5 receptions for 44 yards. And we started to get a little bit Brandon Ayuk sighting. Still could use some more out of Brandon Ayuk. I think we're looking at 5 receptions for 63 yards from Brandon Ayuk. Is still a slow day in the office. But Brandon Ayuk did a great job of creating pass interference calls on balls that were underthrown to him. Again, one of the key elements as a quarterback is if you get one-on-one coverage on the outside and you see that a cornerback doesn't have his head turned around, you just throw that thing up. And even if it's you short arm it, if the wide receiver does a good job of fighting back towards the ball, you're going to get an instant defensive pass interference call. Brandon Ayuk did a good job of getting a couple of those. But overall, I like what the 49ers are able to do. They did try to target Danny Gray. I don't know about you guys. I thought that pass attempt for Danny Gray in the end zone was arguably a defensive pass interference. It looked like Quandre Diggs kind of shoved Danny Gray out the way. I don't know. Maybe if Danny Gray was a little bit more aggressive trying to come back for the ball, maybe they would have called it. But Danny Gray's first opportunity in game action, and then Mitch Wishnowsky averaging 44 yards a punt. Robbie Gould missed a field goal. Am I tripping? It says Robbie Gould, 2 of 3 field goals. But he's scored 9 points. That doesn't make sense. Blocked kick. It was the block. Thank you. I was like, I don't remember him missing, but he did get blocked. So it was the block. Thank you. Oh. Give Jordan Mason the ball. Come on. Just once. One time for the culture. You can do it. You can do it, Kyle. I don't know about you guys, but it felt like when Jimmy Garoppolo came in, it felt like the play calling kind of like settled in. I don't know. But overall, San Francisco 49ers did what they needed to do. They absolutely dominated the time of possession game. Again, it's always going to be one of my biggest keys to victory. The 49ers absolutely manhandled the Seahawks 38 minutes and 20 seconds to Seattle's 21 minutes and 40 seconds. That's what I'm talking about. They won the turnover differential. They won the penalty margin. Seattle Seahawks had 10 penalties for 106 yards, allowed 2 sacks, 5 punts for Seattle. That's what we like. 2 of 7 on third down. That's what we like. 47 plays total for the Seattle Seahawks, 70 total for the 49ers. Those are the stats that I like. I like time of possession. I like winning the penalties. That kind of stuff. They can work on their third down efficiency. They were good on fourth down, 2 of 3 on fourth down, 6 of 15 on third down efficiency. But the fact that they got that many opportunities, only 1 sack given up, 373 yards of total offense, 184 through the air, 189 on the ground, 5.3 per play. Not too bad. Not too bad considering you lost your starting quarterback in the middle of all that. So, again, a lot of what we're going to talk about probably for the next couple days is going to come back to the quarterback situation and whatever. But it feels so good to just slap Seattle across the face like that. Like, it feels so good to just walk away knowing that the San Francisco 49ers trounced the Seahawks. I love it. Well, I haven't seen that too many times. Haven't seen that too many times uh, in my run, at least as of late. At least as of late. If you guys do have any questions, any talking points, anything you want to get to, feel free, drop it in the chat, and we can talk about that as well. I heard the Bears are getting whooped on right now. Heard the Bears getting whooped on. What's the score? 49ers, we know the 49ers had no business losing that game to the Bears. So the Packers are up 24-10 over the Bears. Cardinals won today. Cardinals were headed for that L, and then the Raiders were just the Raiders. What a shock. Freaking Raiders, man. Raiders are forever trash. Can't convince me otherwise. They had an opportunity to take care of the freaking Cardinals. They're celebrating in their nightclub section. Get their asses whooped. Broncos apparently had a rough day in the office. Almost lost to the Texans. So Broncos aren't looking too hot, which is a good thing for the San Francisco 49ers as they prepare to travel to Denver for Sunday Night Football next week. Cowboys beat the Bengals? I did not see that. Cowboys beat the Bengals? Sheesh. I did not see that. Cooper Rush, Hive? Hey, shout out, Scott. Appreciate you, Scott. Scott says, hey, Brad, great stuff. Huff is the player of the game. I would feel very confident, Scott, saying that you are right. Talanoa Hubanga, as we like to call him, because he out there banging. He did really good. Did real good. That Niner guy, and again, appreciate you guys sending in the super chats. I do appreciate it. That Niner guy says, Brad, can we all be real? This is a disaster. The long-term future of this team is shot. Trey won't play a full season for 3 years now. Won the battle, lost the war. Feel crappy, baby, after a W. And again, I didn't want to spend too much time looking into the future after today because I'm not as doom and gloom as you, Niner guy, but I understand what you're talking about. I do understand what you're talking about. I get the points that you're making, and I think there's some validity to it. I'm not as doom and gloom as you are, but I understand where you're coming from. I do. I I've been someone, I think it's going on about maybe 10 years now, where I really do pay attention to quarterbacks after they have season-ending leg injuries. The discrepancy, like if you go back to Derek Carr. Derek Carr was playing at an MVP, almost an MVP type level. Derek Carr breaks his leg, I think it was on Christmas, and it took Derek a long time to get back. And I don't even think Derek's all the way back to what he was. I still think Derek lost a little bit in that leg injury. I look at Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota was playing at a pretty high level for Tennessee. Then he had a severe leg injury, lost his job to Ryan Tannehill as a young quarterback. Um, you also look at, I'm trying to think who else. There's a list that I started compiling because I wanted to understand the correlation of like these leg injuries, and part of it was due to Jimmy Garoppolo, because when Jimmy Garoppolo went down in 2018, I had built up like a case study of quarterbacks who had leg injuries. I didn't expect Jimmy Garoppolo to come back in 2019 and be a great quarterback. If you go back to 2019, it took Jimmy Garoppolo time to like just be functional again. Um, Leg injuries are serious. You, especially for quarterbacks who either break their plant foot or they break their plant something on their plant leg or the leg that they step into, because it changes your motion. It changes your mental logic, that's something that you never used to think about. Now it's in your subconscious. Doesn't have to be your conscious mind. Just in the back of your head, you know that, can I step forward like fully into this throw? Or so I get where you're coming from. Like I really do. Like I I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's going to be perfectly fine. 49ers are going to be just great and dandy. Trey Lance coming back next year. It's going to be fine. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And it's going to be on Trey, man. It's got to be on Trey to be mentally strong, because I think that's where it affects these guys the most. Joe Burrow is a mentally strong quarterback. I felt like Joe Burrow was able to bounce back because he just had this element to him where he can push through and have the confidence in his ability to come back and things like that. Not everyone's the same. So we're gonna see. It's definitely not great for the long term. Like if we are gonna have that conversation, if we really want to have that conversation, um, it puts the long term future on pause, I would say. I think it's too early to make a definitive, like, oh, Trey, we don't know if Trey's going to bounce back. Like, we don't know what that's going to look like. Does that hamper his development because lack of reps, lack of experience? Now you add nasty ankle injury on top of that. And now it's like, we already had people questioning his ability pre-injury. Well, how's it going to respond post-injury? Like, so I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't want to get too in the weeds with looking down the future right now regarding like, will he come back or will he not? Um, I really do think when it comes to leg injuries, like Carson Wentz was another one. Carson Wentz, RG3. Carson Wentz was having an MVP caliber season, tore his ACL. It's never the same. RG3, we know how magical a year, a rookie season RG3 had. Tore his ACL, never the same. So but you have some outliers again, like Burrow's an outlier. I wouldn't say Alex Smith. He came back, but his was so different. Yeah, I like this. We'll save that talk for next season. Agreed. That's why I didn't want to get into it. I have thoughts. I do have thoughts, but they don't need to be said now. Thank you, Ruben. Bring me back to reality. Based on this O-line, we'll see Purdy starting soon. That's the other thing. That's the other thing that we do have to talk about. You know, we were told that the 49ers were moving off Jimmy Garoppolo just because he couldn't stay healthy. That came from Kyle Shanahan directly, like straight from Kyle's mouth. I can literally envision the film clip, the press conference, where Kyle's saying, we're not moving off Jimmy because he's not a good quarterback. We're moving off Jimmy because he's not healthy and he's not available. That's why we're moving off Jimmy. Like I can literally like envision the press conference clip in my head. So although right now it feels like we have a pretty damn good backup plan. What's the backup plan to the backup plan? Is it Brock Purdy? Uh, because Jimmy does take hits, and he's again recovering from surgery at a UCL tear in his thumbs. He can get injured too. So we'll see. Shout out Sharky Cupcake. That's a nice name for that super chat, and shout out Missing Class for the super chat. After today's game, the Seahawks should extend Pete Carroll. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that would be the best case scenario for the 49ers. I do feel like the 49ers are clearly playing at a level that it didn't matter that the Seattle Seahawks, a division opponent that understands the type of game planning that goes into a game versus the 49ers and a Kyle Shanahan-led team. That didn't matter. It really didn't matter. The 49ers completely outplayed the Seattle Seahawks all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. Again, they had the one miscue that resulted in their only points on the day, which occurred on blocked field goal. And I watched the play too, and I think you just have to give some credit to Tariq Woolen, who's extremely fast. Based on Dwelly's responsibilities, looked like Dwelly stepped down, and he just beat on the outside with speed. So it was a pretty good play by him. Have to tip my cap to Woolen on that one. But hey, 49ers answered. You had the muffed punt that led to 7 points as well. So I mean that's really the recipe right now. The recipe is all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. Everyone plays their part. Complementary football. There's no reason why the 49ers can't get this done. That's gonna be the fun part of that's going to be the fun part of these film breakdowns as we get into the future, because I remember we were breaking this down last year. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. Teams were stacking the box and dropping safeties down into the middle, trying to hit those crossing routes. JC's getting ready for it. And we're going to see those too. But again, got to have that run game. Got to have the run game. But stacked boxes coming in. It's a good point. It's a good point. I haven't even thought about that yet. We're going to see some stack boxes. That's for sure. That's for sure. Hey, but Jimmy did throw a couple go balls today. Jimmy did push the ball downfield. Might not have been totally successful, but he did. Resulted in some PIs. If we can work that, then hey, got to keep the defense honest now. Got to keep them honest. Cheyenne says, I'm hurting for Trey. Breaks my heart, but I remain extremely optimistic about our season. Praying our team stays healthy. I agree with you. I'm still very optimistic. Again, for all we've talked about Jimmy Garoppolo and everything, this, that, and the other thing, and we've beat it. We don't got to repeat it. We've beat it to a dead horse. We know exactly what Jimmy Garoppolo is. But the key thing from this is that the locker room loves this guy. I hold it in as a high trait. I know other people don't, and I understand why, because production ultimately on the field is what they're looking for. But I also understand, as someone who's played not at that level, but played at a level, that it does matter when you have a leader at the quarterback position and what it's like when you don't have a leader at the quarterback position. I can only tell this story so many times. We we were playing against Sierra College. That was Brandon Ayuk's alma mater. Um, we were playing at Sierra in Rockland, and the very first drive, again, I love my guy, but my quarterback comes to the huddle and he's like visibly shook. And as an offense of 10 guys staring back at your quarterback, reading the plays, who's visibly shook, it doesn't put a ton of confidence into a group of guys getting ready to get onto the field. But that's the polar opposite of what Jimmy is. Jimmy is, they talk about it all the time. In that locker, in that huddle, he is this calm, has this calming presence, puts confidence into the other guys. Again, Jimmy might have his limitations, Jimmy might have his issues, but something that he brings to the table that is an intangible aspect raises the play of the other guys around him in pressure moments. So I appreciate that about Jimmy. Does that translate into production? Not necessarily, not his individual production, but I think it's a part of the game that has to be called out. It's one of the traits you need as a quarterback. I think it's one of the traits that Trey was developing. I think Trey is more of a reserved leader at this point when it comes to being in the huddle because he's still learning. He has to get the reps, you know. It's like being a greenhorn, right? Leading a bunch of I guess if I could put this in the terms of like carpentry, like you got a bunch of expert carpenters um that have been doing this for 10 years, and you get a like a project manager in training trying to call the shots but doesn't really know but is learning on the job kind of a situation. And uh I don't know, it's probably a terrible uh whatever example, but I think that's one of the positives that Jimmy brings. Jimmy definitely has confidence from those players. So that gives me confidence for this team because they have a defense, a legit defense. They have good special teams, really good special teams, and their offense is still sort of clicking. And when you turn back to Jimmy, there's already a formula in place that they've had success in the past. So, yes, it absolutely sucks that Trey is gone for the year. We lose that year of development, a crucial year of development for himself. But we at least have a guy who can step in and not skip a beat. It's going to look different. It's not going to look the same. The running element that was brought from Trey isn't going to be there. The deep ball, kind of big splash play element probably isn't going to be there as much. It just reverts kind of inward. You get more efficiency, but you lose the big play. What we need to see is, again, efficiency, limiting turnovers, making good decisions, good throws. I mean, Jimmy had some good throws. Jimmy had some not so good throws today. We'll see. But I'm with you, Cheyenne. Praying we stay healthy. Praying we stay healthy. That's definitely our big first loss of the year for sure. Also, I agree with JC. Now is a great time to hop off the bandwagon. Great time. Great time. If you don't like adversity amongst your football team, now is a great time to go be a Raider fan. Just saying. If you can't ride in the storm, baby, don't be here when we're holding up that 6. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor being able to be like, I was a fan of my team regardless of the struggles, regardless of the decisions that we don't like. Let's talk about this because I've seen this rolling around, so why not? What? So what's this? What? Fill me in on this narrative thing. Why are we firing Kyle? Someone fill me in the chat, please. Why are we firing him? It's week 2. We're already starting the fire Kyle thing. I got you. My guy said link to the hat, residency.com, promo code the SF Niners, get you a little discount. I got to meet my guy today too. Got to meet Zach, head guy at Residency. It's dope to link up with him. Dennis Erickson, enough said. Chip Kelly, Mike Nolan. Why are we firing Kyle? Called. Oh, we don't like the play call. I'm starting to see it, but I agree with this take from Bass. Like, we've had some bad coaches. I don't know if Kyle's up there with one of these bad coaches. I don't think Kyle's perfect, and I feel pretty confident saying that. I don't think Kyle's perfect. Kyle, we've talked about it a lot, man. Kyle lost almost his entire offensive staff. He lost Mike McDaniel. People did not listen to me when I said you need to wrap your arms around Mike McDaniel and you need to cherish him at all costs. People roasting him in the press conference. Look at this nerd. Who's this nerd? Fire this nerd. Everyone's saying fire Mike McDaniel. Like, you guys are idiots. Like, you don't know. You don't know what you have. Look at Mike McDaniel out here living his best life with Tua. Come on, Tua. They lost a lot of staff. So it's going to be a little bit of a process, man. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't love quarterback power. I do like zone read. I don't like zone read quarterback power. You know what I mean? Like, zone read that you either reading the defensive end to hand off, defensive end stays with the running back, so you keep and you run essentially a zone QB counter. It wasn't a power, it was a QB counter. You're pulling your tackle, you're pulling your guard, so it's a counter. So it's a zone read quarterback counter. Still a gap scheme concept, power concept. Not designed fully as a quarterback run. It's an option, zone read option. The particular play that Trey got hurt was a zone read option to quarterback counter. I don't like gap scheme quarterback runs because the same logic that applies to Deebo Samuel running up the middle. It's a lot different running into, going outside the tackles and you're going up against linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties versus going straight up the gut and you're getting rocked by defensive tackles, defensive ends, middle linebackers coming downhill. I've spoken about it many times. I don't like that aspect of Kyle's play calling. I showed examples against the Texans. I think it was like the last play of the game. Kyle called a quarterback power, and almost broke Trey's neck on the play. So they know much better than I do. I'll say that right off the bat. They know more about football. They know more about their personnel. They know more about their scheme than I ever will. All I can say is, from an observer, say I don't like that. I don't love running the quarterback up the middle with regularity. I do love zone read with outside rushes. I like getting Trey in space on the outside. I don't love quarterback counter power. I don't love quarterback gap scheme. I don't. For what reason? The reason that we're talking about today. Is that a fireable offense? I don't think so. Again, they know more about their team. They know more about what they're trying to execute than I do, than any of us do. So I get it. Like, there's clearly an emphasis for Trey Lance to run the football. I would like to see him run it other ways. Like the quarterback draw, loved that play. Felt like that was fire. That was against the Bears. Up the middle, but you clear out the middle by the concept of the play. So you kind of take away some of those threats. You really open up the field, and the running lanes are right there in front of you. When you're running gap scheme with the quarterback, there's designed holes. And if you get interior pressure from your offensive line, if you get a slipped block, like we saw from Aaron Banks against the Bears, and they slip under the puller or whoever, that's a clear shot at your quarterback. I don't love that. I understand it. I get it. I don't love it. And today doesn't make me love it anymore. I went into today with the same thoughts. I leave today saying that's why I don't love it. That's all I can say. Do I think that's fireable? No. That's what they believed was best for them and their scheme. I don't think I'll ever be unless we're talking about college or high school. If we're talking college or high school, you want to run quarterback gap scheme, go for it. The guys aren't big enough. You know, your quarterback's probably bigger than most of the guys that are going to be tackling them. We're talking about gap scheme quarterback runs in the NFL. No, thank you. No, thank you. And I guess the only thing I can say is the reasoning behind why I felt like that going into this season. Because you guys know, if you've been on these lives with me, we've talked about it. I don't like it. I've got tweets. I'll go pull up the tweets with clips that say I don't want to see this. But again, I'm just a guy with red hair that talks about the 49ers. So what do I know? But all I can say is I was worried about the outcome of today based on a play like that. So unfortunately, the outcome that we got happened on a play like I was worried about, and that's just tough. That's just tough. Do I think that's fireable? No, I don't. I think to fire a coach, especially a coach like Kyle Shanahan, you got to have some real evidence, some real just mismanaged situations. He's not perfect, but I still don't see it. I still don't see it. Some of the comments are wild in here. Some of the comments are wild. If we want to go in the hot tub time machine and we want to fix all of this, this is how I really think you do it. If you really want to fix like everything that has gotten us to this point, don't trade up to 3. Just don't trade up to 3. Just sit. Just sit at 12. Just sit at 12. Trade up when you see your guy slipping. Is that Mac? Is it Trey? Clearly is not Justin Fields. Just stay at 12. You escape so many narratives. You escape the pressure of trading an unprecedented amount of draft capital to go up on an improving player. That right there is where it feels like they can't get away from it. Like they made that decision. At first, I'm not going to lie. I thought this was kind of crazy. Someone was like, oh, they traded up to 3 to go get Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts would be kind of dope. I'm not going to lie. It would be kind of dope. I get Jimmy G. Jimmy's still out here toting the rock. Oh man. Again, that's where I think this whole like since 12 to 3, we're on a narrative roller coaster. So, and we just haven't been able to get off of it. And it's just one narrative rolling into the next narrative, into the next narrative, compounding. We're stuck in this like narrative tizzy that started with Mac Jones at 3. And you want to get rid of all this. You want to get rid of the noise. You want to get rid of like the expectations for a young quarterback. Don't trade up to 3 and play the board as it falls. Who knows? Mac Jones could be the San Francisco 49ers quarterback right now. And they didn't spend any first round picks, or they just didn't take a quarterback. They're just like, all right, we're going to suck it up. We're going to suck it up with Jimmy one more year, and we're going to draft Slater or Micah Parsons. Both would have been phenomenal picks. And we're going to keep building this roster and just do what we know what to do. I think it's really what it feels like it's coming back to. Like if we want to get all like time travel-y, it feels like that moment where they traded from 12 to 3. It's going to stick around with this team for a long, long time. So, and it's put a lot of pressure on the coaching staff. It's put a lot of pressure on the player. It's put a lot of pressure on the organization, and they're dealing with it. They're dealing with it every day. So Luke says, Brad, when Kyle said the choices were Lance and Mac, that told me right there. That told me right then Kyle wanted to stay put and take Mac Jones, or his board would have been Fields Lance. He then asked for an extension. That's right. That's right. I forgot about that part of it. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan both got extensions before they traded up to 3. They said, well, we'll trade up to 3, but you got to give us some guarantees that we're going to be here to work through. I forgot about that. I agree with this. 49er fans are absolutely nuts. R says York family is powerful. They know what they're doing. When they traded for Trey, trust me, they are powerful. I mean, they own like a arguably top 5 sports franchise out of all the sports, at least American sports. I know those soccer teams get crazy, but yeah, they're very powerful. They know, yeah. So we can play the game. We can look to the past. We can look to the future. Not going to do us a whole lot. All we can really do is focus right now. I don't believe that the 49ers are going to fire John Lynch. I don't believe they're going to fire Kyle Shanahan. I just don't think that's in the cards. And again, Brad, my super chat didn't display. Thank you. I have been known to miss a super chat. So again, if you see me miss one, call it out. Where is it? Why can't I find it? I'm not finding it. Okay. I can't find it. So, can you find it? He said it charged your card, but it's not displaying it. That sucks. Damn. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. But ask your question, my guy. Ask your question. I'll answer it. I don't see it, but I'll answer it. I agree. No one's getting fired. No one's getting fired. It's gonna take a lot, man. Oh, it didn't post. Got it. I feel like when when fans want to fire a coach, it's just an emotional response, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing that we got to take away. You know, we're all fans. We talk about fans. We talk about this team every day. Like if you're talking about fire Kyle Shanahan week 2 after the 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks, a division opponent, probably just a little emotional. That's okay. It's okay to be emotional, but let's treat this like the real world because this isn't Madden. You just can't cycle through guys. Um there's no there's really no what's the solution if you fire Kyle Shanahan. It's always my first go to people who say Kyle needs to be fired. Kyle has done a bad job. He needs to be fired. Okay. What's your solution? Who's coming in to get this train back on the tracks? Who's your hire? Well, I don't know. Not Kyle though. It's like, well, exactly. What's your succession plan? Who's going to come in here understanding that they have to develop Trey Lance? Who's doing that? Who's putting their job on the line because they have to come in and develop Trey Lance off an injury? Who's doing that? Chip Kelly? It sounds like a Chip Kelly type of gig. Oh, this or Urban Meyer. So like be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Because who's going to fix this? Who's going to hitch their saddle to an injured Trey Lance? It's easier to say fire someone. But if you really can't think it through and like, okay, well, what's the succession plan? Who's going to come develop Trey Lance? Urban Meyer? Because who's going to want to come coach the San Francisco 49ers after they spend 3 first-round draft picks in Trey Lance and then fire their coach that is one of the better coaches in the NFL and expect them to develop? Who's going to do that? It's really easy to say fire someone. It's not easy to put the actual plan in place for a new coach. That's the part that stumps these fire Kyle guys all the time. It's like, who's coming in here? You're going to get a new GM and a new coach to develop a quarterback that they did not draft but will have to because of the investment that the team put into them. That's not how GM coaches work. They come in, they bring their whole new staff, they bring their own players, They clean house. If you're bringing in another coach to take over the Trey Lance project, you're not getting a good coach. You're getting someone who's just hopeful for an opportunity, just wants an opportunity, aka Jim Tom Sula. Tony says, this just feels like you get a Nintendo for Christmas and then your kid brother spills his juice all over it on December 26th. Damn it, brother. How could you do this to me? We just had our shiny new toy. I was so hyped to play with it. And you just screw it all up. It's just... I agree. I agree. I was really looking forward to the development of Trey Lance because that's what I've wanted since day one. I'm a development guy. Like, that's why I like football. And like, if we boil this down to its core and you take away the YouTube, you take away the Twitter, take away Instagram, you take away Facebook, you take away all the social media, you take away all this like online stuff that I do with my brand, all that, you take all that away. I love football because I love the developmental side of football. I love watching players like George Kittle, a 5th round blocking tight end, turn into the best tight end in the NFL. That type of stuff, that's what gets me going. Like, I love developing. I love seeing things in guys that others don't see and putting the time and the effort into them and watching them develop. So I was so hyped for the 49ers to draft a rookie quarterback and watch that development process in front of me. Because since I've been a 49er fan, really the first quarterback that I can remember was Steve Young. I was 6 years old when they won the championship in 94. No, 5 years old. Yes, 5 years old when they won the championship. After that, Jeff Garcia. Oh my God, these that's so stupid. Bleacher Report just posted several players and coaches privately say the 49ers are a better team now with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Who says that? Why would you say that if you're a player? Even if you believed it, why the hell would you say that to a SF Chronicle reporter? Why? Just feels like the same Michael Silver source just keeps feeding them with all the good stuff, huh? Like, what the hell? Who would even say that after a game? Like, that's ridiculous. It's not Bleacher Report. That's the SF Chronicle. That is a well-respected newspaper that Mike Silver writes for. That's not Bleacher Report. They're just aggregating the content. It's from the SF Chronicle. But I agree. I was really looking forward to the development of Trey Lance, and it really does suck that not only is it going to be put on hold, in my opinion, it puts a question mark now, like really on his development. Like, how, like, now we have to talk about how is he going to bounce back from the injury. Like, it's a whole nother layer that he did not need to deal with. So, man, feel for Trey Lance. Lil Lord Stewie says, I just worry about him because I don't want the RG3 thing to happen. It's too late. It just happened. to our QB when he has so much potential. I just want Kyle to own up what he did. It kind of just happened, but didn't even get to the RG3 levels. At least RG3 had won offensive rookie of the year. Um, you want him to own up to what he did. What's he gonna say? Like, what's he gonna say? They clearly felt that was a part of the scheme that they needed to execute with Trey Lance. They clearly believed that was a necessary factor of the offense. Like, it just sucks, man. EJ says, Brad, can I get a you were right? About what? If you remind me about what you were right about. Um, then maybe. Jason. Hey, chill in the chat. Were you saying I think I remember that. I think I remember that. I think we talked about that. I think we talked about it. I think you said I think you did say that. Might have been right. Might have been right. But I do think that a lot of us, like, if you're not an irrational fan, if you're not just like picking sides and like you're a 49er fan and you want to see one guy be successful, but you understand the nuances involved, you absolutely feel bad for Trey Lance. You absolutely feel bad for Trey Lance. Like it you'd have to be one of those types of fans to like be excited about this and be like, "Oh, this is good. This is great," because it's not. There's really no way that the future of your franchise, a guy that you've sunk so many draft picks into, like this is not a good thing for anyone, even if you're the ultimate pro Jimmy guy. Because if you're a pro Jimmy guy, I would imagine you're still pro 49er. And being pro 49er, losing a guy that represents like 5 potential blue chip players, that's not a good thing. JT, my guy, says, you think the Super Bowl window is still here? I do. But now this is where it hinges on. Now it hinges on Jimmy's health. It hinges on Jimmy's health. So I feel like a broken record when I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like an absolute broken record when I talk about this team. Their problem ultimately is not coaching, it's not personnel, it's none of that stuff. Their issue is staying healthy. They just cannot stay healthy. It is, again, I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but it's just like their biggest issue. I feel like every single year, oh, they're going to be a good team as long as they can stay healthy. Oh, they're going to be really good if they can stay healthy. So, is this team still have a Super Bowl window? I think so. This defense is elite. Special teams is clearly showing they're really good. Offensive line, the offense is showing promise. Jimmy Garoppolo, been there, done that, provides a level of confidence. Yeah, I still think so. But health, it's still going to be the thing. Health. Can we stay healthy? If we can stay healthy, absolutely. The Super Bowl window is open, but we've seen how quickly things can change if an injury or multiple injuries occur. So as of right now, I still feel optimistic. I think today was a perfect example of why you should be optimistic. You lose your starting quarterback. This guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, wasn't even on the team all offseason. He was on the team, but wasn't on the team. He was on the team, but wasn't on the team. Wasn't a part of meetings, didn't have a playbook, was thrown and cast off to the side, signs at the deadline, and is able to step in and play well and continue to lead the team to a victory. The one thing that Jimmy Garoppolo said that I've always believed that the issues between him and Kyle is that if you go back and you listen to his press conference, he said it felt like 2017. The reason why I said it felt like 2017 is because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't acclimated to the playbook, wasn't like it wasn't super like integrated into the scheme. So they could only run certain aspects that they knew would work and they could do efficiently. I've always felt like part of the issues between Kyle and Jimmy is Kyle can make it really complex where you slow down some things. And I think kind of what Jimmy was talking about today was like, hey, we just went out and did it. We just let it go. We started firing. Just like in 2017 when he came in after being on the team for 2 weeks after getting traded from the Patriots, not having a full year in the scheme, not having a full offseason in the scheme, just learning. They came out and won 5 games playing Jimmy's way. They came out and won 5 games playing what was comfortable for Jimmy. As soon as they switched it to what's comfortable for Kyle, I think it makes it more complex. And there's a lot of things to key on as an offense. So, I don't know. Something to think about. Something to think about. But I still think the window's open. I think the 49ers have and it's not just on the quarterback, thankfully. It's not just on the offense. We knew that going in. The thing is, with Trey going out and Jimmy going in, it really doesn't feel like a loss. It just feels like, in the sense of, it just feels like a different skill set, but they're still kind of on the same baseline. Trey opened up things with his ability to go deep and use his legs. He was working through short to intermediate and quick throws outside the numbers and those things. But it feels like Jimmy, they still kind of are at the same level. So we still thought that the Super Bowl window was alive with Trey as a starting quarterback. I still feel that way with Jimmy. Jimmy's just got to stay healthy. That's it. You finally get to see the lighting without the freaking sun beaming in here. Shout out Josh. Shout out to everyone tapping in, still vibing with me. I've been going for a while now. Hour 30. Woo! I'm just having fun talking 49ers football. I love that the 49ers won. I love a lot about that game. I don't love how Trey got hurt. You know what I mean? I don't love it, but I love a lot of the other things. So, and I think the 49ers are still in good shape. So, You guys know I'm going to be optimistic. You guys know I'm going to look at things through a glass half full approach. And the glass is definitely still full. There's still a lot to look forward to. Just have to take the developmental side of things that we're looking for with Trey, and we got to put it on the shelf. And we just have to move forward. Just have to move forward. I hope Kittle's going to be back. I don't know. I hope Kittle's back next week. It's one thing that would be another positive. What JC said, man. Throw that thing downfield. Let's see how that new reconstructed soldier shoulder is looking like. I think we've touched on most of all of it. Unless you guys have any last questions that you want to get in. Appreciate you, Luke. Said you're a breath of fresh air. Fans need to feel the grass. There's beauty in not overreacting sometimes. There's beauty in gathering your thoughts. Yeah, we talked about this. Jimmy does get hurt, so that's like the next thing is that's the real quarterback journey, JC. It's not Trey Lance, it's not Jimmy Garoppolo. The real quarterback journey was the friends that we made along the way. 100%. And that's how you know we vibe. That's how you know the SDS lit. Hey, who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Thank God we got Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. Wouldn't have been me. I'm glad to say I was wrong as hell. Like, I was wrong as hell. Who, like, considering these circumstances, I'm freaking so happy that we have Jimmy Garoppolo. Who would have thought? Like, literally, who would have thought? Wouldn't have been me. Wouldn't have been me. But here we are. The NFL never ceases to amaze. The NFL never ceases to entertain. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. Brad, did you hear Jimmy in the presser said it felt like 2017? I got to throw it around, and that's what I love to do. Saving drives on 3rd and long, not so much. Let him throw. He was high volume before. Yeah, they put Jimmy Garoppolo in a much better position to be successful 2017 because they had to dumb down the offense. It's when they make I think the complex nature of the offense can really slow it down. Did Brad Stradamus admitting to be wrong? I was just admitting that I wouldn't think I would be happy that Jimmy's here. Like, really? Like, I thought we were going to be arguing for weeks about Trey, Jimmy, national media breathing down our necks about Trey, Jimmy. Again, we knew it was coming, but I was already beat down after week 1. I was beat down after week 1, and I just shocked. Cheyenne says, let's feed the bear again next week. Bosa with 2 more on Russ. I want to see 3. I'm still waiting for that 3. I want to see 3 on Russ. National television, prime time, Sunday Night Football, the entire world watching. I just want them to see the dominance of Nick Bosa. If Nick Bosa comes out of there, 6 total sacks on the year, 3 on Russell Wilson on prime time, we're talking about that defensive player of the year from the jump. So that's how you got to do it. You got to sway public opinion early, and then you got to maintain. But I agree. This makes next week huge with the game against the Broncos. Oh, dude. JC said the narrative that makes me laugh so hard is that Kittle was sitting out until Jimmy played, and now he's going to happen to be ready when Jimmy starts. These narratives are wild, man. These narratives are wild. It's crazy what you can do with the platform. It's crazy. You know what? I was thinking this. I saw these facts that supported this weird narrative. So it must be true. But it is wild how it played out like that. It is wild. Kittle's getting, I don't know why everyone hates Kittle. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why this fan base hates Kittle so much. I do know why. A certain subsection does, but it's just weird to me. It's just really weird to me. But that's a conversation for another day that we don't need to get into right now. It's about that time. I should probably wrap this up. Bro, this fan base hates the entire team. I swear there is literally a portion of this fan base where they just love hating on the team. I think that's part of it. Good stuff. But at the end of the day, we won. San Francisco 49ers victorious over the Seattle Seahawks. Love to see it. And we take that momentum into Denver. Denver got the dub over the Texans, so they're coming in off a win. We're coming in off a win. Prime time, great opportunities ahead to show the nation what's good. Again, put that defense on display and really show them off, showcase what we got. So really looking forward to it. I'm glad we get a Victory Monday tomorrow. So we got Victory Monday tomorrow. Gonna have all kinds of good content. Excited to get into this tape and watch it back, do all that good stuff. But again, we understand what we're up against. It's not the best outcome that we wanted from the game, but we understand where we sit and we can't go back and change it. So we'll continue to move forward. The quest for 6 is still alive. And I appreciate everyone. And again, grab your cookie on the way out if you stayed from start to finish. Absolutely amazing if you did. And shout out to all the SDS. Appreciate all you guys rocking with me. Victor, oh, I saw that from Lake and Tomlinson. He had Victory Donuts. Damn it. But again, appreciate all you guys. Shout out to all the SDS. Send a little thought and prayer out to my guys, Trey Lance. But I appreciate you all. Smash that like button on your way out. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy it. I'm out of here. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to